Hello everyone and welcome to my power ranking special. I'm very excited to be sharing this with all of you. Been working hard on it the past couple of days to get it all worked out. I'll start this off by saying I have nothing against any of you. Someone's got to be number 1, someone's got to be number 20. I hope that every team plays well and competes this season. But that's not going to happen, so I'm going to give my opinion as unbiasedly as I possibly can, and don't take it personally. I really hope that you prove me wrong. I am wrong every day. I am wrong so much when it comes to things in this league, and I am ready to be proven wrong again, because it's happened before and it will happen again, so I can't wait. So let's just get into the things that I'll be regretting a couple months from now, and we'll start with number 20. Lincoln Spiders. What is there to say that I haven't said a million times already? This is a bad team. This is really bad. As you can see by their ratings, I don't have a lot of hope for them. They did trade for Malcolm Middlebrooks, and I feel like this is just tier regression bait, unfortunately. I think Middlebrooks will be entering free agency as a silver next season. They have no one for him to throw to. His offensive line is bad. The defense is also bad. The coaching is the worst part. I strongly think that they will not have a playbook to support anyone on this team, and I don't think they're going to win the game this year. So that's my railing of Lincoln. I wouldn't say much more, but they're not going to be good. So I found a team that has a worse offense than Lincoln, and that's the Indiana LYNX. The only difference here is that instead of a gold quarterback, they have a silver in Deshaun Harrison, who, let's just say, doesn't have the best traits for this. Doesn't really have anyone to throw to either, which isn't great. The defense should be okay, which I think is a good step up, with one gold defensive lineman, 2 silvers, and a gold linebacker. So I think they have some pieces on defense that I can say are good, but still not great. And their coaching, I also don't trust. Ryder has been able to get a little bit out of New Haven, not a lot, and he hired Dar, which, as much as we like Dar as a person, he hasn't had any success in his career, so not feeling great about Indiana's chances this year. But of course, this is still an expansion team, so they'll get time to build. And next up is Detroit. Not much is changing from their history, but they're still rebuilding as well. So we'll just take a look at what they have. Their offense isn't great. They have a couple pieces. They have aging CJ Green at running back. They have Mason Jackson, who they picked up after Lincoln cut him. They at least have some wide receivers that can get the football. And they were able to start building an offensive line that I think could be decent. They also have a defense with some good players. I really like Chris Milligan myself, of course, Javon Payne, Gerald Frederick. These are all guys that have been at the top of the league at some point or another. So that's a great start. They bring in Mark Martin at cornerback. Anthony Winfield is one of the breakout stars of this team. Philip Nelson also had a good season last year, so I wouldn't push past him just yet. But yeah, so Detroit, they're moving in the right direction. I don't agree with every move they've made, obviously. But I think that they have a better outlook than the two teams below them. Next up, we have the New Haven Lancers. And of course, New Haven is being led by Colin Pierce at quarterback. They had a gold running back in Zach Lott, but they let him regress to silver. Still paid him a lot to stay here. They also have Andrew Brooks at wide receiver, so he's a really good one. So I have to rank their offense a D, which is right around where we've had in this range so far. But they're getting highly rated because of their defense. I'm afraid about their pass rush. They have 3 copper defensive ends, but they still have Cooter Jeffries at defensive tackle. That's a gold player. So that should kind of make up for it. They have some good linebacker talent, but the secondary is going to be really good. They have 4 gold players in their secondary, so they should have no problem stopping the pass. The one thing that I think is that they haven't been able to get somebody to be their playbook guy. So I really think that if this team had a playbook guy, they would be able to succeed. They don't. So that's why they'll never get past the bottom of the league. So right now they're struggling, and I think that's where they're going to stay. So next up we have the DC Tribe. I nearly wrote Memphis Tribe when I was making this graphic. I did, and then I just realized that I needed to fix it. So the DC Tribe coming in. They have Jamie Spencer still at quarterback, so he's one of our success stories as far as progression is concerned. They still have Lance Washington, obviously. They have 2 silver wide receivers, which is more than I can say for most people. And even though Butterly did regress last season, he's still a silver, so he's still okay. So that's why their offense is the best so far. And they also have a pretty passable defense as well, with Freddie Trammell locking down the middle. They have Kingston Simpson, who I think is going to do good stuff once again. Tyree Britton, Dale Jeffries at corner. They have good players. Egbe Oswolo at gold. Safety is probably their best. But so that's what they're working with right now. So I do think that they have a decent defense as well. And they have a coach that has been somewhat successful with his team. So we'll see how it goes when he gets more time to really fill out what this team is going to look like. So I'm excited to see where they go from here. I still have them down here at 16, but they're moving in the right direction. So next up is the Wyoming Cavalry, and starting from their offense, it is surprising that an offense with Chris Dixon on it only makes it to a C rating, but I'm worried about what Jack P is going to be able to do in this offense once again. They do have Drayshawn Foster and Zadarius Walker in there as a big 1-2 punch. They got Dax Lewis, so they have weapons around him. It's just, does he have the firepower? Does he have the playbook that he needs to get into the right position? On defense, they do have some good talent. They have 2 gold linebackers in William Howard and Jason Hurley. Ty White at cornerback, Dracul and Jimmy Hazard at safety. So they have a bunch of pieces that they're going to be able to use. Lapaka Kawhi, the rookie corner. So if I am Wyoming, I'm happy with my defense. They just need that offense to give them more than they usually do, and they'll be maybe in the playoff hunt. We'll see. So this is the first of the teams that I could consider possibly making a run. The Jamaica Hummingbirds have historically been a good but not great team, and I think they're kind of that once again this year. They have improved in some areas. I do think their offense is going to come down to what Chuck Kitt is able to do. I had a conversation with Hammer actually today, and he has a lot of praise for Chuck Kitt. So I do think that he's going to do well. I just haven't seen it. And he's a silver quarterback, and those are kind of hit or miss sometimes. They still have Jim Harden, Brian Bennett, Cash Moon, awesome all-pro level players. And they did start to build a little bit of an offensive line as well. And then, of course, this defense, which is crazy good, with Fist Brothers, Corey Tucker, Mike Ripley, Kingston Maxfield, Parker Thomas at cornerback now, Lavernius Boomstick at safety. This is a really solid defense. The main question is, will they be used correctly? Is this playbook going to be there to make sure that Jamaica can get over the hump this year? Still yet to be seen. And next up is the Santa Fe Prowl. There are a lot of good that has come from this team. We'll see if they're able to attack on that. On offense, you got to start with, what is Julio Reyes going to be able to do? He's had some really good years. He's had some bad years. But it's a brand new start for him. We'll see how it goes. He's throwing to James Woodson, who I think is probably the best tight end in the league right now. Unless I'm forgetting somebody. I think he has the most pound-for-pound talent if he's used correctly. They have a couple good receivers. Nolan Pierce, Rhino Spine at running back. So we'll see how he does. But it's mainly they have a bit of a defense with Bam Johnson and Chaz Brown and Scott Stroker. They have Chad Kruger, the rookie corner. We'll see if he's able to produce. Derek Janko. You're going to get a little bit to see of Caleb King, who I love. So I think that this defense has a lot of potential. This team is very potential heavy. It's just going to be, is the coaching there? Has Derek gotten enough from the Colin tree? As we continue, you'll see who I think has had a little bit more of the Colin tree. But I think that since Derek is closest to Colin, I think he's probably most likely to have applied it. So we'll have to see what happens with his team. So who are these Des Moines Corn Kings? I think it's still yet to be seen what they're going to be doing this year. He kind of just tore the whole team down, and for obvious reasons. But I don't think he did a great job of giving himself the right talent for his team. They bring in Harrison Miller, who I think could be a good quarterback. They aren't tied down to him, obviously, with 1 year on his deal. But I do think that they have the opportunity to do well here. Eagle Mondavi, Roger Howard at wide receiver. I think both of those guys could do well. The big issue is Carlos Reyes going to be able to run the football? I don't know. Are they going to have to go back to a Season 5 Green Bay approach and just throw it every time? I don't even know if they have the weapons to do that. So, and the offensive line isn't great either, so their offense is going to be a little bit tough. But they do have a pretty good defense. They have Derek Chipper, a gold defensive tackle. They have William Thompson, who's been one of the better linebackers that we've seen. Ezra Swift, a progressed gold safety. They've drafted Victor Moreno. So I think that there is a lot of talent on the team. And I think mostly this rating is that I trust Zach to do a good job as their coach. We'll just have to see if it all comes together, because I'm a little scared if I'm a Corn Kings fan right now. The Myrtle Beach Stingers. Obviously, I love this offense. They have the greatest quarterback, in my estimation, in Hugo Zachary. They have Jaga Bettis at running back, and I think this could be a great 1-2 punch alongside Gregory Pitcher and Trey Whetstone at wide receiver. I think a lot can be done here. They still have a little bit to figure out, and of course with Aspen Leathers nipping at Jaga's heels, we'll see how he's able to do in his rookie season. But this team is going to be mostly defense. Houston Tucker, Alex Perry, Kawhi Kamali, Jackson Stover, Dwayne Borrego, Jonathan Bravo, Ty Newsome, the big free agent signing, Steven Jefferson, DJ Barnes. How can you say no to this team? Like, of course, they don't have Jack Bridges like they did last year, but this is a really talented roster. The main question is, once again, what is this playbook going to look like? And I feel like Derek has more potential to do it on his own. I feel like Colin's going to be advising his father a little bit on how to do this playbook stuff. So I have more confidence, a little bit more confidence anyway. But he already has a better roster to begin with, which the way that they've been talking, like it would seem like they didn't get anything They've got a really great team out of it, so I wouldn't be worried about it at all. So I think Myrtle Beach can be great. That's why I have them so high, and I think that with the MVP talent that Hugo Zachary, Jaga Bettis are, I think that this team could go really far if they get the playbook correct. The Louisiana Steamers, the thorn in the side of a lot of franchises in the league now. I'm excited to see what this team does this year. You still have TD Hardvigson and Richmond Webb. Leighton Blue is still here. So is Mike Coco, who had a star-making performance last season. This offense should be just as good as it always has been. And TD Hardvigson, I'm sure Montreal is really wishing they had him right now. On defense, they have guys like JT McIntyre and the rookie Julius Orange at defensive tackle. So I think that this team, they've put together a good defense as well. And they have Frank Wade, who's always been a solid coach in the league. So I think that this team is an average competing team. Like, I don't think that they're at the highest level, but they are going to be able to compete this year. And I would be surprised if they weren't in the playoffs and maybe even making 1 or 2 wins in said playoffs. So we'll see how the season goes for them. So here are the Green Bay Wolfpack. I'm sure Jake is expecting a little bit higher on these power rankings, but this is just where I feel Green Bay is as an organization. I'm a little bit down on their offense after watching Cade Smith try to run the football. At his age, it's not looking great. They still have the offensive weapons, of course, but I'm a little concerned about that. They have a great defense. Like, they have a ton of defensive pieces, and they're not even paying them all what they're going to be paying them once they're at their full contract value. So they're really getting the most out of their team that they can right now. Guys like Stephen Baltus, Andrew Aaron. I love what I see out of Rondell Brown. You have the Hall of Famer Darius Leonard the third. Great stuff there from him. The main concern with this team is the playbook. DB is building a playbook for the first time, and Jake has never built a playbook. Well, I can't say that for sure, but I don't think he's built one that has been super successful. And even with having some influence in the past, this team didn't really look great last year. So we'll have to see if they have turned a new leaf and have really put themselves in a really good position. I think they have. We'll just see what everything comes out as next season. Number 8, the Washington Wastelanders, another expansion team that I expect to do really well. Of course, I'm going to start with Chad Rowland because it really comes down to what his scheme is going to be able to do, because I have a lot of trust in Chad Rowland after what he did for Lincoln last year, which was get a lot out of nothing. And they still lost a lot of games, but he got them to a point where they weren't losing by 70. So that's great. Let's move on to their offense. They were able to snag Buchanan Simmons from the Tribe and get Sam Blotner in free agency for $4.5 million, which is insanity. They made a late signing at quarterback, and they got Connor Manning in there. We haven't seen him be a day one starter in a while, so we'll see how that goes. Joel Woods at running back, I think, could do really well. So I have faith in this offense, and I also have faith in the defense, even though I'm a little worried about their pass rush since it's basically just Jeff Gallery right now. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure the scheme will help out, but I'm a little concerned about that. At linebacker, Avery Roberts, who is a guy who progressed a couple times to get up to silver. They got Trevor Rivers as well. And then the secondary, which is the best part of this team. Noah Underhill, love that guy. Max Shute, Hollywood Mason, C.C. Rowland, the rookie safety, and Keith Johnson, who is maybe not got the interception numbers, but he's definitely been a really good safety, even as a bronze. So I think that this team, and don't forget about Scooter Stroker, the best punter in the draft. So I'm excited to see what Washington comes out with. it really all comes down to what Chad's able to do, because I think that this team has a lot of potential. But I think we're going to be seeing Washington in the playoff hunt and maybe even a championship contender. So hello Pottsville. Just as I was looking at your roster, I found an issue, so that's cool. But as I look at this offense as it's currently constructed, having Gary Nicholson, Martin Radosevic, Rashawn Randall, Anthony Jackson, Larry Barr at tight end, I feel really good about where they are on offense. I think that they'll be able to do really well. The defense, I also feel pretty good about. I don't feel as good as the offense, but guys like DeBulldozer are still here. Stanley Rain, of course, progressing to gold. Tom Nobis, Blake Sellers making his triumphant return. Zion Gilbert, Chester Hayes at cornerback. Brian Allen, Orion Hatchiyak. They have a lot of talent, and I think that this team could do really well. We'll have to see if Dave is able to put these players in the best position. I always feel good about what Dave does. So we'll see if he can finally put together something a playbook that's from good to unbeatable. That's the real difference. And we'll have to see if he's able to do that. The Charleston Federals are my number 6 team, coming off a really great first run with this roster. I think there are still issues that need to be fixed, but coming out right now, I feel really good about them. Tyler Roush coming off a good season. They're going to be bringing in Trey Tucker at running back, which I'm sure he's surprised about. Randy Pierce at wide receiver probably had the most dominant receiving season that I've seen in a while. Jeff Bainfield, Coulter Hands, also really good players. And then you get down to this defense and you get Boogie Turner, Pitt Elder, Colleen Pearson, Jackie Nimble, Wyatt Zuspin, Crass James. And then it's at cornerback, you have Mojo Rising, Jesus Rising, Scotty Burns. Go down to safety, Matt Bradley and Andy Todd. I don't think you can say that this is a bad defense by any stretch of the imagination. So I think that this team is going to compete and do really well for themselves. If Nolan is able to, like I said with Dave, is able to take his good playbook and make it into an unbeatable playbook, because that's what you have to compete with for these high-level teams. So I think that they can do really well. Just, are they going to be able to move up to the next level? Someone who I don't doubt has been putting together an awesome playbook for me is Mr. Hammer and the Jackson Crabs. If this was made before Mr. Hammer came back, I would not be putting this team this high. But now that he's here and has been able to look at this offense that I've put together, I feel really, really good about where we're at as an organization. Nate Peterman Jr., as cursed as he is, he's still a Hall of Famer, one of the best of all time. And he's getting an opportunity to finally get the trophy here with Akaji Adebowale, with Tyler Holmes, Joshua Pearson, and Wesley Walker, arguably the best receiving core in the league. And I know Jake will have a problem with me saying that, but if it's not number 1, it might be number 2. A great offensive line. Coming down to the defense, you have LaQuendrez Friedman breaking out from his tough couple positions the last couple years. Robert Cron, who had an awesome season last year. You have a guy in Josiah Walker who was great as a copper, and he's progressed to bronze. I'm taking a chance on him. I want him to do really well. Dave Willingham at linebacker, legendary force. Jimmy Knight, Isla Audacious, Algie LeCue. It's not a great defense. There are still some holes that I couldn't afford to fill, but this is a defense that I feel we can do a lot with, and I think Hammer will do a lot with. And he's, like I said, the main reason that we are this high is because of him. So thank you for coming back, first of all. But also, I think this team is going to do really well, and I'm really excited for it. So one guy that didn't get a really good shake last year was Mike Coco and Miami. If I can remember correctly, Josh Wagner was playing as a bronze quarterback for at least half the season when he's a silver. So right out of the gate, he was fighting against a lot of difficulty. So now that he has him as a silver, I can only imagine what it's going to look like. And they still have Zeusay, Jared Willis. They bring in Travis Stafford at wide receiver. Hello. Hall of Famer. James Walters, Marlon Marshall. This is going to be a really, really scary offense. And then you have to talk about the defense as well. The only hole I see is at defensive tackle. I'm a little concerned about what that's going to be, but maybe you don't even need a good one. You got Jim Copeland. You got Roberto DeMora. You got Boof Brown at linebacker. You got Terrence Jenkins, Hykill Murray. The secondary is crazy with Jamal Perkins, Icky Butler, and Bluta Batarski. And Cole Hewitt, he has a role at free safety. I think he can do really well. This is a really, really good team. I might be underrating Mike Coco. I just don't know the guy well enough to know exactly what he's able to do with a playbook. So I'm excited for Miami. I think they're going to compete more than they ever have. And yeah, I'd be really scared if I was going up against them. Coming up next is the Boston Whales, who were the surprise team of last season, and they're going to be right back doing it again. Mike Napoli at quarterback is going to be great. I don't even know why I'm starting with him when Jake Blanchard was just one of the best seasons that we've ever seen from a running back. He's going to be really good again this year. Naj Lewiston, as I've said many times, is one of my favorite receivers to come out. The main question mark, of course, is who is that number 2 receiving target? But here's the thing. Last season, they had Lefty Bruin and Terrence Raymond. They both regressed, so they weren't really playing up to their silver potential, so maybe they don't even need them anyway. And they were able to upgrade on the offensive line, so I think this team could be even better than it already is. But it's the defense. It's always been the defense. Just looking at this defense, it is so good. Hugh Hugo, Kyle Lockhart, John Hurley, Javon Payne at corner, Amadi Ayodele replacing Kurt McDuffie, Brian Craven, Abdul Hodge. So I do think that the defense takes a very slight step back from where it was last season, but even so, they still have some of the best to ever do it. And they have a coaching staff that was able to get a lot out of this team last year when not many people expected it. So I think they could be right back competing again at a high level. And maybe this is the year that the Boston Whales finally do it. But it's going to be a tough road because there are 2 teams at the very top that I think are going to be competing in the championship game. And one of them is the Vegas Venom. The Vegas Venom are primed and ready for a big run this year. They had a disappointing end to last year, but I'm excited to see what they do this season. With a new quarterback, they don't have NPJ anymore. They are going to rock with Terrence Hudnall as a silver quarterback. I was surprised that he made it to them, but here he is, and it's going to be an interesting go because they do have good abilities on him, and I think he could do well. But even if he doesn't, Joel made it to the Season 5 championship with Jake Lesnar, so it doesn't really matter what you put in front of him. He can still make a lot out of it. At running back, you got Claude Owens, who is really good. And at wide receiver, you have 3 golds. Denabola, Kevin Vance, and Deontay Brown, really good players. Alan Ruggiero, maybe this is the year that he comes back with a vengeance. I doubt it, but you never know. And then you got this defense. Sal Napoli is going to be really good this year. Cliff Holmes, he showed up in the game that I watched. You got Lewis Levens. You got Doug Durkin, Matt Owens, Michael Hunt, Tim Miles, 2 of my favorite safety duo. Fully Bonolo, the rookie, coming in. I think this team is going to be really good, and it's going to be really hard to stop them. It just kind of comes down to what Terrence Hudnall's going to be, but even so, I think they're still going to outperform him regardless. So yeah, I think Vegas is well on their way to being in championship contention. But in saying that, I think it would be really disrespectful to put any team but the Montreal Berserkers at number 1, even if you have slight questions about their quarterback choices. I feel like we do every year. So here he is. Leroy Lucas Grant's going to be leading the team this year. I think he could do well. We'll just have to see how it goes. Bradley Davis at running back is a godsend. He's always been really good, and he will continue to be good this season. Ryan Roosevelt alongside the rookie Jeremy Olinger. I think that's a great option. And yes, I did give them Cooper Stroker as a part of the Joshua Pearson trade. Yeah, I know, but I got good value back, so I'm not going to complain too much. And they got a great offensive line as well now, so I think they're just going to be even better on offense. Their defense is still really good. They got Kazuya Wakamatsu, they got Chris Bacon, they got Uzi Dangle at linebacker, Crash Dingle, who secretly has been one of the best defensive players, Todd Taylor, who may be the best corner, alongside DeAndre Williams, Jeffrey Chin, Prince Washington, Jack Bridges. Why is the secondary so good? How could you do this to me? You just made them even better. Oh, I really hope that Colin doesn't win, so he has to fix this team after they all hit free agency, because that'll be insane. But yeah, this is a win now year for Montreal once again, and I think they have a really good shot at doing it. As much as you can say that any team has a really good shot at winning, I think that Montreal is ready, and I don't doubt that they could possibly win it all this year. So that's it for the Season 9 Power Rankings. I probably messed up a lot, and that's okay. You guys will have to let me know how I did, but seeing as how I can't even spell abilities correctly, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. This is just for fun. Good luck to all the teams. I hope you all win the Gen Bowl, but not beat me, of course. So yeah, good luck to everyone. Season's right around the corner. I'm really excited about it. Let me know what you think. Put your own power rankings up. We'll put them on the website like we always tend to do in this time of year. I know Colin's got his ready to go. We talked about it the other day, so I'm sure he'll love telling me how wrong I am also. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know why your team should be higher than I rated them, because I'm sure everybody feels that their team is lower than it needs to be, and maybe they're right. We'll find out. But yeah, so that was it for this video. More preseason, more real games coming soon. So keep this channel put on our notifications so you know when we're going live and with the games that we have. So really excited for the new season. See you guys there.